Hey, you guys, let's have a conversation about Tamar Braxton and all the stuff that's been going on with her in the past week and a half or so. So, it was reported that there was an alleged attempt for her to take herself out of here because she was found unresponsive. And with the 911 call being released, where her boyfriend was speaking to the 911 operator about things that normally someone who is contacting the operator for 911 to get help for your loved one, you're not going to really talk about. You're just trying to find out how close are they? Are they almost here? You're trying to keep an eye on your loved one while hoping and praying for the best and hoping someone comes there as soon as possible to help your loved one. But her boyfriend was having a conversation with the 911 operator about how Tamar was not happy with the things that were going on with the network. And she has the reality show that was supposed to be coming out soon on WETV called Get Your Life, or Get Your Life, as she says a lot, or has said a lot. It's a phrase I guess she has coined, so I guess it made sense. If they were going to do a spinoff show or another spinoff show for her, it would be called that, because they all started as the Braxtons with the family, and then she had a spinoff with her now ex-husband Vincent, and then they ended up getting divorced, and so now she has moved on and she is with her current boyfriend David Adefeso. So since she's been recovering, she's finally made a statement and just sharing some things about what's going on, and I guess what eventually brought her to the state that she was in, where she just felt like, I'm just so tired of everything. Let me just rest and take some pills and something to drink and go to sleep. Because to be honest with you, I don't really believe she was trying to take herself out. That's just my opinion, of course. And so I have the right to my opinion and share what I think. I don't believe she was really trying to take herself out. I believe some people, when they are in a state of just being extremely tired and just worn out by whatever seems to be wearing them down, then they will either drink heavily, or they may take some pills, and it sounds like what she did was take some pills and mix it with alcohol, and then it led to where she was in a state of unresponsiveness, allegedly, because this is just what's been reported. We don't know, and we probably will never really know all that happened, because with HIPAA laws, you can't see that information, and rightfully so, because really it's none of our business. But because it was out there in the news and it was reported, we have the right to just share our thoughts and opinions on the situation. So she posted on her Instagram account, and this is what she said. Over the past 11 years, there were promises made to protect and portray my story and the authenticity and honesty I gave. I was betrayed, taken advantage of, overworked, and underpaid. I wrote a letter over 2 months ago asking to be freed from what I believed was excessive and unfair. I explained in personal detail the demise I was experiencing. My cry for help went totally ignored. However, the demands persisted. It was my spirit and my soul that was tainted the most. There are a few things I count on most to be: a good mother, a good daughter, a good partner, a good sister, and a good person. Who I was begun to mean little to nothing, because it would only be how I was portrayed on television that would matter. It was witnessing the slow death of the woman I became that discouraged my will to fight. I felt like I was no longer living. I was existing for the purpose of a corporation's gain and ratings, and that killed me. Mental illness is real. We have to normalize acknowledging it and stop associating it with shame and humiliation. The pain that I have experienced over the past 11 years has slowly ate away at my spirit and my mental. I will do everything in my power to aid those who've from mental illness, including those of us whose mental illness was only a result from the toxic systemic bondage that dwells television. And this is how she wrote it, guys, so I'm not botching her words. It was only God's grace and his mercy on my attempt to end my pain and my life that I am here to utilize my voice. I am learning to grow through my pain instead of looking for an escape. I'm on an irreversible path to healing. I am taking my time. It is of the utmost importance that I find my happy and my health through professional treatment for the sake of my whole heart. Logan, who I forgot in my moment of distress and desperation, and giving this journey my undivided attention. My rise will not be in vain. So basically, she's been saying that she was unhappy with the way things were going on the network and with her new show. I'm not sure if it's just about the actual show or maybe past things, and she was promised some things moving forward in this spinoff that she was able to get, which is a gift for many people. I mean, a lot of people want to get spinoffs. I mean, we've been hearing Nene Leakes from the Real Housewives of Atlanta just talking about spinoffs so much in the past several months. It's like, I guess, somebody who has been considered a star in some sense on a reality show where there are several other members in the cast included to get some type of spinoff, because it sort of solidifies this person in this stardom that they obviously were seeking, that they obviously wanted. And so the network came out and made a statement. Tamar Braxton has been an incredibly important member of the WETV family for more than a decade, and our first concern is for her recovery and well-being. Given the current situation, we are postponing the premiere of Tamar Braxton, Get Your Life, until September 10th. This series was conceived by Tamar and is a real portrait of a dynamic woman juggling the demands of being a single mother, a new relationship, and her career. We know when the time is right, Tamar's fans will relate to seeing this honest portrait of her life. But at this moment, we are joining with her fans in sending strength and healing in the hope that she is getting the support and help she needs at this difficult time. Okay, so reading this statement, and this is what I want to get to, and one of the reasons why I even wanted to have this conversation about Tamar Braxton and the events that led up to her alleged attempt at taking her life. They're basically saying that, look, we're going to postpone the show. We're not canceling it because there's obviously some type of contractual agreement with having this series, okay? And they said this series was conceived by Tamar and is a real portrait of a dynamic woman juggling the demands of being a single mother, a new relationship, and her career. Now, they did everything in that statement, just that one sentence, that line. They could have put it in all caps, or they could have capitalized some words and possibly underline and put some words in bold and possibly an exclamation point at the end. And honestly, when people are having conversations with each other and someone's trying to make their point, they will send things in all caps and exclamation points and even add some emojis in there because they're trying to keep it professional. I get it. They didn't do any of that. But what they're basically saying is that, look, we're sorry to hear about Tamar's mental state at this time and her feeling that in some way she thinks that we are the cause of her being in the state that she's in. But look, this is something that she created. She conceived the series, and we're giving her the opportunity to share a portrait of her life, what she's doing in her life, being a single mother right now, being in a new relationship with her boyfriend, and her career, whatever she's, really doing right now. Because I don't know of any music that she has coming out right now or has had come out recently. I don't know of, besides the reality shows, what she's really even doing career-wise. But they were trying to be very strategic and kind at the same time, but being blunt as well, to say, we haven't done anything but film what she gave us. And this is what my point is. Tamar Braxton is someone that has either an honest, huge personality, or she's just putting on for the cameras. Either way, I don't know. I don't know her personally, so I can't say. Some people are very good actors, and so maybe that isn't how she really is, but she played it up because of her trying to be the breakout star in the Braxton series, and she obviously became the breakout star because more people were more prone to have had that access and that, know of who Toni Braxton is. And even though Tamar Braxton has had music up before, nobody was checking for Tamar Braxton. So she really was the breakout star in the Braxton series. Now, I think I heard that she was the one that came up with the idea for the Braxton. So that's her baby and that's her brainchild. And kudos to her. She, created it and it became something that became successful and had many series, thereafter. But we already know that these reality shows, they get the ratings and the views, which turns into the dollars from all of the advertisements and everything from people being interested in the show. And the drama has to be there for these types of shows, because this isn't Animal Planet where you're watching a show about a veterinarian who's saving, animals out on the prairie somewhere. Okay. This is not the Discovery Channel where people are watching about things science related or, health related or whatever. This is about entertainment in the reality world. WeTV, that was a station nobody really knew much about. So the Braxtons really gave this network more of, that's an actual station. I don't really know of anyone that was watching WeTV before the Braxtons. So that is something that they really brought to WeTV. But WeTV is capitalizing off of it. They're making the money. And Tamar Braxton's personality was so huge, and then it became just a lot of drama with the one-liners of, get your life, have several seats. All the one-liners that she was saying that became catchphrases of hers, and then other people just caught on to it and started saying it, because it's not uncommon for people to say these days, girl, have several seats, and all that stuff. It's stuff that I never really heard anyone saying before she was saying it all the time. Now, people can evolve and people can change. Everybody has the right to change. But here is where I want to ask you guys the question, and I'll share my thoughts. If you are an employee who was hired to do something for a company, and this company is generating revenue, which is able to pay you from, and of course the company is not a charity, so they're there to make a profit as well. And they hire you to produce what they need that's going to continue to bring in the revenue, but then you decide that you want to switch up and you don't want to produce that anymore. Does that company are they contractually obligated to continue to keep you on board if you're not producing what they need you to produce in order to generate the revenue? So one, they can continue to even be in existence and continue to afford to pay you and the other staff. I feel that so many celebrities are just so entitled, because we who are the everyday folks who either own companies, like myself, I'm an entrepreneur. I hate even using that word entrepreneur, but I own a business, but I also operate my business and I work in my business as well. So I don't just have employees that work in my business. I work in my business as well. So my employees generate revenue, but I generate a lot of revenue in my business. Not sure if some celebrities just become so out of touch that they just feel like everything is so about them. And if you are being filmed for a reality show and this is what you are doing, and they're recording it and they are playing it for the general public to watch and see, but you don't like that, then whose fault is that? Unless they are having you do things and they're telling you to do these things and these aren't things that you are doing on your own, then I don't think you really have the right to say that they're not fair, they're portraying me in a light that I didn't want to be portrayed in. It goes back to that old saying when people would get upset years ago. I remember The Real World. I believe it was the second season of The Real World. So I'm dating myself, obviously. And this was a season where Tammy Roman was on. And she was known as the black chick with the attitude. And, you know, didn't take any stuff, and she would beat you down if you came for her. Which I'm not saying she was ever doing those things, but she stood her ground and she was who she was. And then many years ago, after they had several seasons of The Real World, on the first season, the season 1 was filmed in New York. Season 2, I believe, was somewhere in California. It was so long ago, so forgive me guys if I don't remember exactly which city it was. I don't think it was San Francisco. I believe San Francisco was season 3. But anyway, they had a reunion of several seasons. So it may have been like after 10 seasons of The Real World, they had like a reunion for all of those seasons together. And so a lot of different questions were being asked. And someone asked the question of Tammy Roman, about her portrayal on The Real World. And she was basically saying she didn't really like the way that she was portrayed. And Heather B., who was on season 1, she interjected and she was like, look, no, they only can show what you portrayed. So if you were a bitch and they were recording it, then you're a bitch. And she said it just like that. And Tammy didn't like it. And I'll never forget that. But Heather B stood her ground on it because she was basically saying, look, they're only recording what we give them. Now, of course, the way the reality shows were back then with The Real World, it's not the same as it is today, because we all know that reality TV, it is not like it was back in the day where they would just put people in a house together and just record and whatever happens, happens. But it's still reality TV in the terms of it's not a all-out script where you have actors that have to read lines and have to memorize the scripts and they're having to cut, we're going to re-record that scene or whatever. Now, they may be scripted in the terms of, okay, you're going to meet this person at this restaurant and you're going to discuss this issue. And then they'll say, okay, and go. And then they start filming. And then just kind of what happens. Now, they may say, we want you to really press the issue if the person doesn't really want to talk about it or whatever. And that's, kind of the way that goes. But it's not like an actual television show or series or sitcom, shall we say, or drama or whatever. They have the drama, but it's not a dramatic television series. So I'm saying all of those things to say that what Tamar is giving is who she really is. Now, I am not discounting mental health issues. Believe me, guys. So that's why I put the disclaimer out there. I'm not here to judge. I'm not here to bash. I'm just sharing my opinion on the topic and just saying that, listen, I believe everybody has some sort of mental issue, and we may not have a mental illness, but think about it. We go through so much in our lives, some of us more than others, but we're not going for mental health checkups. We go to the gynecologist, the men are going for their checkups, to bend over and cough or, whatever you have to do for your yearly physical exams body wise. But in terms of your brain, nobody's really getting mental health checkups. So I, again, am not saying that she doesn't have a mental illness because I don't know her. But what I am just saying, and I believe in a sense, is that she wasn't happy with the way things were. That can happen. I'm not saying you don't have the right to not be happy with your job, and you get tired of the job that you're doing and you want to do something different. Everybody has the right to feel that way. But if she went to them and wanted them to do something different, and they said, look, you're in this contract, this is what we signed on to do, this isn't going to be about rainbows and sunshine. If you gave us Hell and High Water, we've filmed Hell and High Water, and we're going to show Hell and High Water to your audience because they're tuning in for the real Tamar. So if she got upset about that and then she decided she wanted to do something about it to try to get out of it, then it's possible. Here's what I'm saying, guys, and I'm not accusing her of doing this because I don't know, but what I am suggesting is that it is possible that she was sharing with them that she's not happy, she wants to get out of this, she doesn't feel like she's being paid enough to be putting up with this bullcrap. It could be similar to someone who is working on a job, they don't want to come in, they've asked for the time off, the job says, look, no, we need you for this shift, we're short-handed, we're short-staffed, you can't call out, you have to come in. And then the person calls in and says that they had to go to the emergency room, they were in an accident, or they're so sick that they can't come in. Or I'm hearing stories now from people, because I have clients that have employees or who are managers, and they're having people who are calling out now saying that they were around somebody who had COVID-19, and so they need to self-quarantine. And they're not really telling the truth. They just didn't want to work. And so what I'm saying is that if she was in some type of contract that she couldn't get out of but for some type of situation like this, then it's possible that this could have been the route that she would try to go to get out of it. Because let's think about it. When I listened to the 911 call with her boyfriend calling, speaking to this random 911 operator about the network and how she was unhappy with the way things were going with the show and all this other stuff, and this person's like probably not even knowing who Tamar Braxton is. The person's just like, is she okay? Is she responsive? Like, he's checking on the patient or the victim, in that sense, not about her job. So those are just my thoughts, and I'm just curious to know what you guys think about it. I'm not asking, do you feel that she doesn't have a mental issue or mental illness? Because that's not for us to decide. I'm not saying that she doesn't, but I'm also saying that it is possible that she could have went this route to try to get out of something that she did not really want to be in. And that's why I kind of waited to talk about this situation, just because I was just kind of looking at things overall, and I didn't want to just come out and talk about it when things immediately happened. Because one, I was praying that things would work out, because I know she has a young son to look after and mother, and that's just not a good situation for anybody to be in, whether you're famous or not. It's not worth it to take yourself out of here over a job dispute or contract dispute or money or anything. So because look, I'm sorry that she's feeling that way or felt that she had to go that route, but there's so many people going through worse situations right now. My heart does not bleed for Tamar Braxton. There are people who don't know where their next meal is coming from. Unemployment benefits are getting, cut off for a lot of people. There are a lot of people that don't have a job to return to, and just so many things are going on. So I can't sit here and say that my heart bleeds for Tamar, but I do wish her well. But I would love to know what you guys think about this situation. What are your thoughts regarding Tamar Braxton and this situation with the network, and now she's speaking about mental illness and possibly becoming an ambassador for it? I don't know. It's a lot to unpack, but let's just talk about it in the comment section. So guys, thanks so much for listening to this podversation. Thank you always for supporting the channel by clicking the links in the description box and in the pinned comment. And this is the Minister of Beauty, here to share the Bible. That's business, inspiration, beauty, life, and enjoyment. So thank you for liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing. And until the next video, have an amazingly blessed and beautiful day.